Hello everyone, this is the fifth lecture on the chapter Moving Charge and Magnetism. So today we will see, firstly we'll see magnetic force on a current carrying conductor, and then we'll see force on a parallel current carrying wires, okay? And then galvanometer, then conversion of galvanometer into voltmeter, ammeter, etc. Alright, so yeah. So first of all, try to understand the diagram. All these blue crosses, okay, they are the magnetic fields and they are entering the plane of the screen or plane of the paper, whatever you say. Okay, they are entering the page. Now you have this wire. This is a wire. Okay. Now the wire, in the wire, current is moving along the right direction. Now generally we consider current to be flowing from positive to negative, right? Or you can say that the direction of current flow is opposite to the direction of electron flow. That means if I am saying that the current is flowing along the right, that means electrons are flowing along this direction, right? So in actuality there is no positive charges flowing inside the wire, but it is negative charges, that is electrons flowing opposite direction, in the opposite direction. That is what constitutes a current, right? These electrons are flowing in this way, then we say that the current is flowing along the right. So just for simplicity purpose, we are considering that there are some positive charges like going along the direction of the current, okay? And this assumption or this consideration will not affect our overall result. Clear? Now, well, we talked about B. Now we talked about current or velocity vector. You can say that positive charges are flowing along the right direction. Clear? Now if you apply Fleming's left hand rule, right? So how do you apply that? The magnetic field is represented by this index finger, yeah, and it is entering the plane of the page. Clear? Then the velocity vector is represented by the middle finger and it is going along the right. In such a case, you see the thumb will point towards the upward direction. Clear? Now this has to be tried, okay? Every time you have to apply this left hand rule, right hand rule, whatever it is, apply this and try to understand, okay? If you don't understand the application of the how to apply Fleming's left hand rule or right hand thumb rule and all, then you'll be totally confused, okay, with when we progress with the chapter and while doing questions. So this is very important to align the fingers accordingly and understand the direction of the force. Clear? Now we got this relation that magnetic force acting on a positive charge moving perpendicularly in a magnetic field is given by QVB sine theta, right? QVB sine theta. And like we can write down velocity as length of the wire divided by time, okay? Or you can say velocity is like velocity of one charged particle, right? And then if the charged particle covers length L in time t, like the length of this wire L in time t, then this velocity can be written as L by t, because this charge will cover L distance in t time, right? Then you have B sine theta. Now you see Q by T can be written as, Q by T is what? Charge by time, and that can be written as I, current I. Then you have L, then you have B sine theta, right? Now L is what? L is length of the wire, okay? Now this can be written as, now till here we had the scalar form, clear? Now this can be written as I L cross B, L vector cross B vector, okay? So in vector form you write down this force relation as I L cross B. So this is the other relation for magnetic force, okay? We'll use this in this lecture, we'll use this quite a couple of times, you'll see. Now if theta equal to 90 degree, right, then that is the angle between the length of the wire and the magnetic field, right? And actually it is 90 degree in this particular case. The magnetic field is entering perpendicular to the page and the wire is lying perpendicular to the magnetic field, or the length of the wire, you can say length of the wire is lying perpendicular to the magnetic field. Therefore theta is 90. So if theta equal to 90, then F will be ILB, okay? So So this will be the magnetic force in that situation when theta is 90. Now we will apply this rule. You see, you will apply this rule in quite a couple of situations. The first situation is force between two infinitely long current carrying wires, okay, or current carrying conductors. Now there are two situations. Focus one after another, okay. Let's focus on this diagram first, and then we'll focus on this diagram. So we'll be doing the mathematics of this particular diagram now itself, and this I'll leave as homework. So if you understand this, you'll be able to do the other one. Now you see, here you have two wires or two conductors, this white rectangular shaped, okay, these are say two conductors. Now current is being carried in the upward direction. Both the conductors, like I1 current is flowing up in this wire, and let the name of this wire be X, and I2 current is flowing in this wire along the upward direction. Okay, now we'll understand this a while later in the derivation. Now in simple terms, I would like to tell here that in both the situations, you see in the second diagram also, I1 current is going upward in this first wire, and I2 current is going downward in the second wire. Now your condition is like two parallel current carrying conductor carries, or two parallel current carrying conductor carrying current in first condition same direction, right? Second condition opposite direction. Here the currents are in opposite direction, here they are in same direction. Now what it says is that when the currents are being carried in the same direction, then the two wires will attract each other, okay, so they will attract each other. When they carry current in the opposite direction, then the two wires will repel each other. We need to show this with the help of mathematics and Fleming's left hand rule, okay, we'll show that. Now with what force will they attract or repel each other? With force per unit length, okay, this measurement is force per unit length. This F is not just force, but it is force per unit length, right? So with force per unit length of what value? Now this F1, you see this F1 and F2 in the diagram, or F2 and F1 and F2 in the second diagram, their magnitudes are mu naught by 4 pi, which is a constant, right, to I1 I2, right, 2 and product of the currents in both the wires divided by A. Now what is A? A is the distance between the two wires. In both the situation we have taken it as same. Clear? Now in brief, or for numericals, you have to remember this thing particularly. Two wires carrying current in the same direction, they will attract each other. Two wires carrying current in the opposite direction, they will repel each other. Of course they need to be parallel wires, okay. Now with what force? The relation for force will be F equal to mu naught by 4 pi 2 I1 I2 divided by A, with force per unit length this value, okay. Now let's see the derivation. Now you see, we'll apply firstly we'll apply that right hand thumb rule, okay. Now here we are calling this particular current, okay, this particular current is I1, we are calling this current as I2, right. We are calling this magnetic field as B2, mind it. In the first wire, the magnetic field that you see here in this diagram is B2. In the second wire, the magnetic field is B1. Now B1 is entering the page, therefore you are representing this with cross, okay, and B2 is coming outside the page, mind it, perpendicularly outside. This is like from this point straight upwards, okay, therefore you represent it with a dot. The first wire we are calling it as X, the second wire we are calling it as Y. The distance between the two wire is A, small a. Clear? Now we need to find out this direction of force F1 and F2, that you have to understand. But before that, let's understand how the magnetic field goes inwards or outwards, right? Now let's focus on this current I2. Since current flowing in the second wire is I2, if you apply right hand rule, just right hand thumb rule, you will align the thumb along the direction of the current, right? In that situation, the direction in which the fingers curl, right, they will show the direction of the magnetic field. Now the magnetic field will be in this manner. That means on the left side of this wire, they will come outside, the right side they will get inside. Yes. Now here also the same, due to this current I2, the magnetic field in this region also, that will also come outside, or you can see here also it will come outside, here also it will come outside, and in all positions to the right side of the wire, the magnetic field will enter the page. Okay, I'll just explain this once again. The current I2 is going in the upward direction, due to this current I2, there will be a circular magnetic field around it, doesn't it? Which will come outside the page from the left and enter the page on the right. Clear? So here also it will be like this. It will come outside the page from the left and enter into the page on the right. Right? Now what is the name of this magnetic field? Since the current is I2, we are naming this magnetic field B2, mind it. And therefore at this position also the magnetic field will come out, right? Come out perpendicularly outside this particular point, right? And therefore here we are representing that as B2. B2 is right way perpendicularly outside. Clear? So if this part is clear, now this, or you can say that the magnetic field or the wire X is lying in the magnetic field of the wire Y, okay, or magnetic field created by current I2. The wire X is lying in the magnetic field created by current I2. Therefore this field is B2, right? So part 1 is over. Now look at the second part. Now here again I would like to add one more point here, that always know that if a current is carrying a if a wire is carrying a current, then the magnetic field due to this current on the body of this wire is zero. Okay, this you can show in Biot-Savart law itself. The magnetic field, you might ask why this magnetic field is not because of this current, because the magnetic field due to this current on this wire will be zero. The magnetic field due to this current I1 on this wire will be zero. Clear? Therefore this wire is lying in the magnetic field created by I2 current, and this wire, Y wire, is lying, or Y conductor is lying in the magnetic field created by I1 current. Now if you apply, now we come to the second part. If you apply I1, if you apply right hand thumb rule in the first wire, now the current is going in the upward direction, therefore the magnetic field lines will come outside from this left of this wire and enter towards the right. Yes, so it will come outside from here and it will enter. Now if you talk about this point, you see at this point also it is entering the page, yes or no? Therefore this B1 field is entering the page. Okay, so on the left side, this is the left region. On the left region the magnetic field is coming outside the page. On the right region the magnetic field is going inside the page, and therefore your B1 is going inside the page. Clear? Now we are calling this as B1 because this B1 field is created by this I1 current. I hope the magnetic field B1 and B2, their directions are very much clear. If that is clear, then we can come to the third part of the understanding of the physics. Okay, later on we'll do the mathematics very quickly. Now you see, we understood B2 magnetic field coming outside the page. Clear? We understood I1 current going above the page or upwards along the upward direction. Therefore if you apply Fleming's left hand rule, this is your left hand again. Okay, so the middle finger is directed along current I1, which is along the upward direction. Clear? The B2 magnetic field, the index finger, is coming outside the page. You see this is pointing outside the page, straight way outside, right? In that sense, you see, you have to try it, you have to check with your left hand here. You'll see that the thumb is pointing along the right, which is F1, magnetic force F1 is pointing along the right. So this part is done. Clear? Now the next part and the last part of this understanding is, now in the second wire the magnetic field is going inside the page, right? Therefore you see this B1 is going inside the page. The current is happening in the upward direction, therefore it is like middle finger is in the upward direction. And in that situation, when you align your left hand in this manner, you will see that F2 is pointing along the left, right? And therefore you can say that F1 and F2 are directed along the same direction, and therefore they are attracting each other. So the understanding is done, the physics is done. We can look into the mathematics very quickly if you have understood this. Now derivation part, like we can write down magnetic field on Y due to current I1, right? Magnetic field on wire Y due to current I1. okay, due to current I1 in X, in wire X. Now the magnetic field value will be mu naught by 4 pi, okay, 2 I1 divided by A. Now this comes from Gauss law. We have done this derivation due to straight wire. Just check that. Okay, mu naught 2I by 4 pi A. Probably previously we have used 4 pi R, I guess. You can check that. Now force experienced by, this is the relation for magnetic field, right? So this is happening inside, D1 is happening inside the page. We can put a cross here and let this be equation number 1, right? Now force experienced by a conductor of length L, right? Now this is B1, B1 is this, clear? Now force experienced by a conductor of length L, what we learnt in the previous relation, the force expression is BIL or ILB, we have written there, right? Just the previous derivation that we have discussed. Now force experienced per unit length of conductor Y, okay, in the magnetic field B1. Okay, this B1 is created by whom? B1 is created by I1 current. Now this wire Y2 is lying in the field B1. Therefore, what is the force which is F2? Okay, what is the force experienced by this wire Y? So that will be F2 equal to, the field value is B1, the current being carried by this wire is I2, right, into 1. Now this is actually not just force, but this is force per unit length, okay, this is force per unit length. Therefore per unit length means you are considering the length to be 1 meter, okay. So force experienced per unit length, okay, of conductor Y, that is B1 I2 into 1. Now you can put the value of B1, and after putting the value of B1 you will get the expression to be mu naught by 4 pi 2 I1 I2 divided by A. So let this be equation number, okay, not required, okay, we'll see it, like we'll put it all together during the last. Now what is the direction of this force? F2 is directed towards conductor X. F2 is directed towards X, okay, towards conductor X. Similarly, you can write down that, now here we can like shorten the thing rather than writing, doing the entire mathematics again. Like you can write down straight away. Similarly, force experienced per unit length of conductor Y in magnetic field B2, okay, this magnetic field is B2. Now what is the force experienced? The force experienced is F1, alright, and this force will also be mu naught by 4 pi, okay, 2 I1 I2. You can in fact proceed, or you can proceed in this manner and find out this last relation that we'll be writing down, okay. So 2 I1 I2 divided by A, you can just proceed in the similar manner like the first part of this, and then you'll obtain this result. Now here F1 vector is directed towards Y, is directed towards conductor Y, okay. So what do you understand from here? You see magnitude of F1, or even if you don't write in that manner, this will do. Magnitude of F1 and F2 is same. This force per unit length, right? Both are force per unit length. These are same, and that is equal to how much? That is equal to mu naught by 4 pi 2 I1 I2 divided by A. And this was the relation we wrote in the beginning, right? Here mu naught by 4 pi 2 I1 I2 divided by A. Now you can say that when these two currents are carrying current in the same direction, two wires are carrying current in the same direction, then they are attracting each other with force per unit length of this value, okay. So I'll just give you homework for the second condition, like when currents are being carried in the opposite direction, that will stay as homework. You can try that out yourself. Okay. Okay, I'll do one thing. I'll do this torque thing. We'll do it in the next lecture. Okay. Torque and current loop as a magnetic dipole. Like three more topics are left. I'll include that in the next lecture.